morning, everyone. Thanks a lot, Sarah, for a nice introduction. So today, we will not be talking about lux levels, dimming, no human-centric lighting. Unfortunately, we won't learn much about that today. Today, we have an opportunity with our lovely panelists here, who will introduce themselves in a short time, to unravel a very delicate topic. What is it like to be a female in a very male-dominant design industry? So to start with, my name is Greta. I'm from Grubb studio and I'm a project designer. I started my career in design about 5 years ago. It was an amazing journey where I was surrounded by many inspiring people, and luckily enough, I didn't really have many bad experiences, but I'll share a few with you in a bit. So to start with, Faye, would you like to introduce yourself? Come on. Oh.
Hi, my name is Faye Robinson. I'm from Enigma Lighting, and I've been a lighting designer for, I think it's 15 years now, so it's quite a while. My background is actually in theatre design, and then I got into architectural lighting from that.
Hi, I'm Lauren Lever. I'm from Foundry Lighting. I'm a principal designer. Been in the industry for about 13 years now. My background, I come from product and furniture design.
Okay. Hi, my name is Katia. I think I'm the newest person in the lighting industry. I think I'm here in London working as a lighting designer in Urban Electric company. My background is in interior architecture and product design, and I realized that light is really important for the space. So I did a master in lighting design in Sweden 2 years ago. So yeah, this is why I'm saying that I'm very new in the profession. Yes, that's it.
Hi, it works. I'm Anna. I'm currently director at Light Bureau, independent lighting design practice. Started lighting 13 years ago back home in Moscow, and actually started lighting from scratch. So it's my only background.
Thank you very much. Nice introduction. We have only 30 minutes, so we won't expand too much, and we will dive straight into the topic. If you have any questions, by the way, after the discussion, please feel free to ask. We will be hanging around. So, when your journey started in the design, when was the first time you kind of felt a little bit uncomfortable for being female? Do you still remember it, or did it just went over your head, or maybe you had a significant one that stuck in your head? Might have even happened like last month, but that was like the most outrageous thing. So Anna, I would like to start with you if you want.
What? Yeah. Still working. I actually absolutely forgot my first experience, but we had a chat a little bit before, so Greta asked me before, and I started to try to remember when was that, and I realized that it was when I was 22 years old, and I was not chosen for a particular position over a male friend of mine, who's still a very close friend. And he was the same age and background, but he was chosen for the position because he was a male, and I was told that I won't be looked as much as authority on the market, and he did. And at that point, based in Russia, very sexist country, so I didn't even stand up for myself, and this was the worst thing about it. I thought it's normal. So basically, like, we're here, like I'm here personally to just raise awareness that it's happening, and we are not even realizing that it's happening quite often. And the last one, yeah, was in Eastern European country for a project, and 30 years of experience, coming to the site, and they're asking, oh, do you have any technical support with you? I was like, I'm your technical support. So it's still happening to this day, no matter what experiences.
And Anna, sorry, so we jumped a little bit to the experience question, but as you started saying, you are here to also raise the awareness. What other sort of thoughts you had when you heard about the project Women in Lighting? What sprang to your head? Why did you really want to come here and participate in this panel?
To help young designers, extremely talented designers, to kind of go through it easier than we did, and for hopefully next generation will be easier to handle some things which are happening. And just raise awareness that Like, not because someone is bad, because we don't know what's happening, we're all biased. Yeah.
Thank you. Katia, what are your experiences and how do you feel about women in lighting and why do you think it's important?
Yes, as I said, it's very new. It's only 1 year of experience. So, yeah, what I can say here is that, well, I'm working in a company that is only male. I have 4 male colleagues. So I have felt really supported, and I have never felt that I am, because I'm female, I don't have the same knowledge or the same opportunities. So I have felt very supportive in the company that I am at the moment. Although, because I'm working in an events industry, so I'm not doing architectural lighting design, but we are basically doing events and parties. It's a different kind of industry. So imagine we're working like overnight, and we have to lift many heavy stuff. We will discuss this further later on. So I think that the only moment that I felt that I had to be not considered different because I was female, it was one moment that in my first job that we had, I had to lead a team of 5 men that they were there to support and leave things around, and I wasn't taken seriously because they were laughing. Maybe because I'm young or I don't know, like it was really uncomfortable, so I had to be strict and assertive and, can I say, bossy, just
she's looking bossy.
well, just to show that, I'm here, I know what I'm doing, and I need your help to pull this job. So I think that's the only example that I have at the moment in my mind that I felt that I have to prove myself because I'm a female. And the reason why I think that this panel is really great, and that's the reason why I wanted to participate, is that I don't know if all of you know about Women in Lighting project, if you have seen how it started and why it started. So I think that the most important thing is to create like a strong network and inspire the younger generation to like feel part of this community and feel supported and, like all of us between us to support each other. So that's the reason why I'm here. Yeah.
Thank you, Greta. Lauren, what are your experiences and thoughts, please?
So I've sort of always been in a bit of a male-dominated industry. It goes back to when I was at school and I did product design, and I was the only female in the whole class. From all boys, and even product and furniture design, I think there was only 20 girls out of 120 in the class. So I'm sort of got used to it in terms of being a bit of a male-dominated industry. I think it's really interesting how recently there's been a panel and a sort of a discussion that's been, I think it's now about 50-50 in terms of the lighting industry. There's about 50% women, 50% male, but actually the actual proportion of higher job titles and things are actually still very male dominated. So one of the reasons why I wanted to come is to sort of prove to other people that you can actually, if you've got that career aspiration to drive and get there, you can do it. And actually, we should all be supporting each other, like we've said. And it's learning from experiences. Myself and Anna, we've had some quite horrible experiences where we've delivered presentations and gone to site, especially abroad. One in particular, I remember giving a presentation to a whole panel, and I think there was about 20 men in the room, and actually the client wouldn't actually talk to me directly. They talked to the water boy to then pass on the information back to me, but I was the one that actually was the director at the time to give the information. So I don't want other people and other women in our industry to have to go through the same experiences that I've gone through. So that's one of the reasons why I want to sort of share that strong women can actually be lighting designers. We've got good technical knowledge, and we should never be sort of held back from that.
Thank you. Faye, please.
Okay. My experience is similar to Lauren's. I've had that happen to me as well. But my background, I used to work at an M&E consultancy as well as head of the lighting group there. and I again walked into a room of, I don't know, 15 male engineers, and I was about to present, and basically didn't get a chance to. I got the drinks orders instead before I'd even sat down, so I pointed them in the direction of the kitchen and told them to sort themselves out. Things like that still happen, and I think we're all getting a little bit more attuned to it, both male and female. But ultimately, I know from the younger generation, now that coming into design, they're a lot more attuned to it, and have maybe not had to deal with it as much. And I think this organisation is great. It's a way of basically standing up for the new generation and encouraging them, letting them know that, you know, we're happy to help them as well, and let them know of the ways that we've dealt with it and how best to approach it. And I think it's through that kind of education side of things that we can make a difference.
Thank you very much. Those are all very, very beautiful answers and very beautiful stories and quite inspiring. I personally feel extremely lucky. I didn't really have that many bad experiences that actually happened to myself. I did work with an architect who she was told by the general contractor that she was there just to tell bullshit. That's quite rough. I'm really sorry about my language, but that's the real situation, and that's how some of the architect females were treated. I've heard that project managers, if they're female, they could seem a bit too shouty or called as well bossy, so that's again another issue of trying to lead, as Katia said, a team of male, and they're not necessarily particularly used to it. So, as the lady said just earlier, when you are very young lighting designer, or designer in general, interior designer, product designer, and you need to stand up for your design, that you put all your heart in and make it, you know, become real, bring it out to the world. It's not that you're doubting your own skills because you're just beginning it, but you're also feeling, you know, maybe you're not as worthy as the other design team members who are male, unfortunately. So I feel the same way that we are here to inspire the ones that are coming into design and hopefully maybe encourage more experienced female designers. I'm really grateful for Anna, Lauren and Faye. You have plenty of experience and you are here supporting, for example, myself and Katia. We only have 5 years, well, I've got 5 years here for you. So for us personally, I found this very inspiring. It gives me so much confidence to go and talk with females who have so much experience, and just having that, you know, it's gonna be okay, don't worry. So that's one of the reasons why I feel it's really important. Okay, moving on. So we spoke a little bit about how we are mistreated by male, not necessarily mistreated, but undermined or stereotyped. Did you have any experience in your career where you felt it might not necessarily be coming from the male side, that there is competition between women in design, and how did you deal with it, or how did it make you feel? Lauren, do you have anything?
I think I'm one of these females that actually is more, I'm a girly girl, I'm more supportive of other women in the industry. I've never wanted to compete with other people, but I have seen it where women are competing against one another, and I think that's where I just said earlier that I just want strong women to connect and collaborate with one another, and not to be frightened about it, and to chat and we all be friends, and you know, it's not about that, it's about trying to, you know, encourage young designers that it's an industry that we can all really enjoy and actually prove quite a lot in, but me myself, I haven't personally had that experience.
So I'm really sorry, I forgot, because we had the preparation little meetup, and one of you mentioned it, and one of you had this moment where, was it you, Faye? I'm really sorry, got you confused, please?
Yeah, it was actually from an older, she was a project manager actually, and it was just me and her in the meeting. I can't remember how everybody else was kind of represented, but essentially I did my presentation, and she just looked me up and down and went, "Good girl." I just thought, all right. But it's also, I think, her mindset, and I'm probably casting aspersions a little bit here, but she's had to maybe be that way to get where she is. So it's not just a male problem, it is a female thing as well, and how we kind of, whether we can just kind of ease that and maybe support one another a bit more.
Yeah, thank you. Anna, how do you feel about it?
I personally didn't have anything that directed at me, but there is scientific research that males and females are both biased against females equally. We just don't really realize that because of years of generations when women didn't have access to education or didn't have right to vote, etc. So we consider males more professional, and it's deep in our brain. So I think why we're here is just to talk about it a little bit more and let people understand that we all might, their first thought somewhere in the back of the head would be, oh, is this lady professional enough? Whereas, yeah, she is, like we are here, we are doing an awesome job, and that's fine, but it's all of us biased, right? So we need just to understand that, always remind ourselves that, to kind of re-switch, and I think that's the main thing to do.
Katia, would you like to add anything?
So yes, also for me, well, I said that I'm working in a company with male, but of course, like in the university, I have been working with teams with female and also in the women lighting. So I haven't personally experienced competition on this sense, but I definitely understand that it exists. I think that, you know, like women, we can relate more easily to other women, and I think that's also a very strong reason why we have to really be collaborative and be supporting with each other, because we can, you know, if you have a problem at work, or if you have like a difficulty that you have to find a solution, you would rather ask for support from your female colleague or from your female mentor or friend, you know. So I think that it's really important to raise that and collaborate more. And I wrote this because I found something yesterday and I found it really strong. And they said, I have never had to unscrew another woman's light bulb in order to sign. And I think that's really, really inspiring and really, not a quote, you know, like a word to, a sentence to remember when we are in this industry, that we can all sign together and we can be supporting each other, male and female, together. That's it. It's, yeah, let's sign.
That is a very beautiful quote. I think we should put it on Women in Lighting, like a slogan, banner one here on the screen. So, male and female can have the same shared knowledge and be equals on paper CV. However, by nature, we will never have the same physique nor hormones. How do you think this affects the perception of women in the workplace? Do you as a woman ever feel limited with your work opportunities because of your physique? So maybe, how do you find your future career goals? If you're a woman, do you feel that you are able to reach for the senior positions, or that would be limited because you will be going on maternity leave, because you're female, therefore you give birth?
I think it's something that all companies need to think of, and I think that's probably why I touched on there's not many women in probably quite high director roles in the industry, because you almost have to make that career decision. Do you want to settle down, have a family? Do you want to have kids? And sometimes you have to pick between your career and having a family, whereas the male side doesn't have to do that decision. And I think that's where companies need to be more supportive towards their females, to actually allow them to do that, you know, with flexible working and things like that, that actually is really beneficial. And I think it's something that we need to do a bit more of a push for, to allow people to still, you know, progress their career and actually enjoy what they do, regardless of whether they want to have kids or anything like that. So I feel quite strongly about it. I think it's something that, you know, to push and to drive women to actually be able to not have to make that decision, to just carry on and enjoy their life and their career without having to pick, do I choose lighting or do I choose my family?
Thank you. Does any of you feel like you would like to add in?
I think it also comes a lot to generally the countries we live in, the companies, bosses, and also our male partners. Because if the sacrifice is made on both ends, then it's fine, because we are never going to be absolutely identical. We are different, right? Male don't give birth to children, and like, unless that happens, like, we are different. And that's the beauty of it. I think the magic happens when we do work together. And if a male partner supports his wife or woman, mother of his child, and they sacrifice this time together, that does make sense. Because otherwise we will be discriminated just because we go out. Of course, we lose that experience, and it's considered okay to kind of undermine us. But also, like, it's important for women to have a choice. If she wants to have a child, if she doesn't want to have a child, if a male wants to be a stay-at-home male or dad, it also should be fine, because males are discriminated against when they want to be a stay-at-home dad as well. So it's all over. Still very, very historical society. What was 500 years ago is still out there.
I really like what you just touched here. It's about collaboration with your partners, and I think that's what's very needed to come. Not only talking with your partner, who's going to take maternity or paternity leave, so one of us can carry on with the careers, but it's also about maybe having open conversations within companies and industries. How do we approach this matter? How do we make it better for both men and female to raise their kids, which are the new generation, and then the way we will raise them, it will all depend what stereotypes they have engraved into the brain system, because that's what it is. We are the way we are today. 100 years ago we got the right to vote. We've been fighting for centuries for our rights. However, we are still here today discussing this matter. We still have issues, and a lot of examples proving the fact. So I really like what you touched on that. Let me see the question. So yeah, I think the final one of the questions would be, what do you think, apart from this conversation, what else needs to change within the social level of bringing kids up, within social level of communication between each other and making us equal? We're not fighting to be the lead of it, be the majority, but equal. So basically, Katia, yes, please.
Okay, so on that, I would say that everything starts from the family. I think everything starts from the very first moment when we understand our potentials, when we understand the strengths, and we are feeling supported from the people that are next to us. So it's first the family, and then first the schools, the friends, and then it's the professional level. So it's not just about the profession that you will choose to do, if you will decide to have children or not have children. So I think that what needs to change, or not, depends. It's to the families, like I would personally prefer to speak for myself on this, because I don't want to generalize things. I don't have this experience. So I would say I would like to speak, for example, for my mom, because for me my mom is my hero, because my mom does teach me that I don't have a limit. The sky is not the limit. I can do whatever I want. I can go out there and dream big and dream without restrictions. I haven't felt, because I'm a woman, that I cannot do something. I cannot be a director one day. This doesn't exist in my mind. I understand that this is the case. I understand that this is still a matter, but I have never thought about this, because I have been raised in a way that I have a brother. We always had equal rights and equal responsibilities. So I never felt that because I'm a woman I have to do this and this. We discussed about this, right? About the stereotypes and
That's really good. I really like what you just said. I saw my mom as a hero. And you look up to your mom, and that's, she gave you wings. So mother gave is wings to spread. However, that's like how you approach your life. But when you want to look up to someone, obviously I have male colleagues. I've seen other male in the industry that I look up to that truly inspire me and teach me and mentor me. However, it's always easier to relate, as you said earlier, to the same sex. So, do you think that one of the main reasons could be that we have a lack of representation of females in the design industry is because we don't have enough heroes to look up to? Well, yes, we are here now, but they weren't represented enough before, and maybe that's where the self-doubtness comes. Oh, there isn't enough females in the industry. Who do I look up to? On the stages, now we're doing it. But I remember 5 years ago, that's when I said I went to lighting design awards. I don't know, 70% male, 30% female. I felt really outnumbered. I didn't have anyone to talk to. Like if I wanted to have a girly conversation. So
it's only going to get better. Ultimately, none of us want this group to actually exist, but that's the kind of crux of it. So more of this. And I think what's interesting is the fact that we're voicing it. People maybe haven't even picked up on what we're talking about in the first instance, like the experiences we've had and things. So I think it's quite interesting to just like voice it and see that's the only way we could get things to change ultimately. So yeah, more of this please.
Lauren, do you have any other data?
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things we don't really want it to get to this point, but it's getting better. I mean, we probably have got some of the older experiences which, to be fair, don't happen nowhere near as often as they used to. So it's getting a lot better. And actually, having the support from not just necessarily our female, team members and industry members, but actually from our male colleagues, and like you say, someone else that you look up to who inspires you, and encouraging people to have mentors. I mentor a couple of people myself, and I think it's so beneficial. And my mentor used to be a man, so it doesn't have to be all you need a female mentor. It's about sharing. You can learn, and we can all share from one another, male and female. I think that's what it's about, trying to group us and unite us together, but actually having that strength to work together as well.
Thank you. Anna, any last words?
Yes. I would just love to add on and say that I had amazing male mentors as well in my life, and friends who are older than me and helped me a lot in my profession. And this by no means is only the females should get together and try for it. No, I think we should do it together. And just a couple of words for probably younger generation. If that happens, remember that it's not personal, it's not about you. A lot of males doing that really don't understand that what they're doing, because they just don't know that they're biased, and it just comes naturally, but they don't understand what they're doing. And speak up for yourself and say, this is what we just did, it made me feel like this, please don't do it again. And the majority say, oh my god, thank you for telling me, I didn't realize that I was being sexist or something like that. I guess just to remember that all the time, that it's not about you, it's not even about them, it's about biases which exist. And I think if we all kind of understand that and collaborate and help each other, this is where magic happens.
Thank you very much. Really beautiful closing words. Thank you very much for everyone who came here. I hope by opening our hearts here a little bit, we open the rest of your hearts, and we now together can collaborate and make it all better. Thank you very much.